I'm just kidding. You look a lot cleaner than I do.
Yeah, we're live though. Yeah.
That's okay.
Pat, how'd you start that off with? You want to be the most beautiful?
Yeah, I just like to be the most handsome person on the video, but now Garrett's here ruining my steam.
Welcome to Paving the Way, episode
24.
24. Today we're going to talk about security. I'm super excited. We're here with Garret and Patrick, and Terry's over here who's afraid to hide and wants to be off camera. So we're excited today to kind of get into this. Garret, so why don't you tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what got you to here?
And what you do.
And what you do. Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah, so I run and own a security company, and we're based in the California region. And, I feel like I'm a guardian at my core. That's the name of our company, Guardian Protection Force. And we do pretty much anything in the security field, armed guards, unarmed guards, executive protection, and private investigations. And that's kind of our niche, is executive protection and private investigations.
Nice. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Now we have a private investigator.
I've got some people that investigate.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. I like that idea. So I was looking at actually. So Director of Intelligence, is that your title? Because that sounds like the best title I've ever heard.
Yeah. So on our private investigations and executive protection side, that's our intelligence side. Okay. And it encompasses a wide range of different aspects there. And yes, that's my title.
Wow.
How long you been doing this?
So about 13, 14 years or so. Yeah. And Guardian's been around for 11 now.
Nice. Very nice.
Something I saw that was super exciting that I saw in your little write-up is about your martial arts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised you asked.
Martial arts, is that?
Yeah. So I'm experienced in the Bujinkan, which is 9 different arts. So I'm ranked in all 9. And it's a Japanese martial art. And that encompasses a lot of different styles because it's 9 different arts. Some of it's grappling, kind of like what you would see in like jiu-jitsu. And then some of it's striking, which you would see in many other arts like Krav Maga or something like this.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So have you anything like high profile you can tell us about that you've done in the past?
Well, unfortunately, most high profile types of jobs or clients we can't really speak much about. Of course, we sign a lot of NDAs, and those people don't want us talking about their business and what they're doing and their security issues. But, yes, we've done a lot of that type of work. We do it all the time. And the kinds of issues they face may be similar to anybody else, just more magnified.
No.
How long ago did you start this company?
11 years.
11 years?
Yep.
What challenges do you find running your own company? Like, I mean, we talk about kind of challenges that we have all the time, and think that's kind of, I think, why we're actually having this conversation with you today, is to talk about challenges that we've been seeing lately. But
one of our challenges is we get robbed all the time.
Yeah.
Like literally our yard, our shop, not ever coming in the building, but the yard and everything else. All of our different construction yards we have for different jobs.
But in your 11 years, what are some of the problems that you struggle from that people could relate to?
Yeah, so some of the struggles that we face are probably the same as many companies in this country at this time. Is probably recruitment of individuals and getting the qualified talent to do it, training that talent and retaining them, and of course, retaining clients who are willing to pay for the services that we provide. I'm sure everybody has that problem.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd say finding people is number one problem.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, as I was asking you what would I answer, and that'd be my number one answer also. What do you do? Do you have any good pointers or tips on how to find people? Because I'm always looking for help there.
Yeah. So, the easiest way to recruit is to provide a ladder for people to grow. In our industry, a lot of companies will provide, one service, and it's whatever level service that is, that's all they provide. And they have really nowhere for those employees to go. Like for us, we do a lot of different security officer work. That's the basic level kind of work that you would probably see at a construction site or something like that. But we also do executive protection. We also do investigations. We also do armed security, a lot of different things. So those individuals see a way to move up. And if you have a way to move up, you're going to be able to recruit more people because they want to go into those different aspects. So they're going to tell their friends, hey, I had these different opportunities. I really liked it. And so word of mouth will be a lot easier than just, going online and trying to find people, scour through the internet on Craigslist and Indeed and everywhere else. It's hard. It takes a long time to do it, but, eventually word gets out and people see you as the prime source for employment, and they like it and they want to stay there. So, actually retaining them is the important. Yeah. If you're not retaining them, then what does your really matter?
It's so important. I think that's such a great thing. We have kind of an apprenticeship program that we're putting together over here also to kind of bring guys up from the bottom. It's such a great way to look at it. I think it's not only just getting them in, it's finding a place to keep them though. You got to really work to build them. And I've found too, guys who get stale don't want to stay. You got guys who are always looking to grow
right. And if they stay around, they're going to refer their friends who do the same type of work for your competitors.
Absolutely.
In our industry, 400% turnover is common, industry wide. That means for every person you hire, you're going to have 4 people in that year doing that same job that you're going to train and rehire. And then as opposed to our company, we have a 85% retention rate. So it's definitely a big difference there.
That's pretty awesome. Good for you. So now what Pat really wants to talk about, because Pat gets very angry, but about security and theft. We've had more stuff than we can even count stolen. Literally just now the way we're inventorying and tracking, just because I feel like now we found stuff we didn't even know was stolen.
Yeah.
I can't remember whose fault it was, but this Friday we had a trailer get left out and they stole the toolbox, like unbolted and stole the big knack box right off the trailer. It was left out for like just a night.
The guys put the knack box on using regular screws to hold it down.
No, don't be making excuses.
The trailer.
No, he's making excuses.
So they came with a screw gun and simply unscrewed it to take the entire box and cut it open.
It wasn't simple.
Back at their chop shop.
They went to some work, but Patrick left it out. That's what we're getting at. Patrick left it out.
6 screws is simple.
It's that blatant. We have literally, it happens nonstop. That's right out in front of our shop.
We've got people on camera siphoning the gas out of our big rigs until we got locks on the gas tanks.
We've got our back gate cut and they come in and steal anything loose on our trucks. Now everything's chained down everywhere we go. But
we've had guys on the job site grab our generators and run with them and grab saws and just take them off the truck when the guys are right there and just run.
Literally, guys were chasing them. Harry, give me that cord, would you?
Yeah, so they're definitely brazen, and they've already recognized you as a source to get something they want. So now they're encouraged to do it again. Yeah. So you're facing a pretty high level of issue there. Although everybody is, especially in the construction industry, we're getting calls every week from some construction company who's having the same issues you are, and they're trying to get it under control. If you're actually doing inventory and finding items that are stolen, you're already kind of ahead of the game. A lot of people don't even know. They have no clue how much is getting stolen right off their property. They have no clue how much that costs them. And so, how do you operate that way? If you don't know what your issue is or how big the issue is, then how do you, put together a solution for it? So it sounds like you guys are already ahead of it a little bit. That's good.
Yeah. Well, we had a trailer that was stolen. I found it was stolen like 2 months after it was stolen, and I was embarrassed to even tell anybody. And we didn't want to tell Pat. I was like, I'm so embarrassed.
Now that means we've had 3 trailers stolen. We just had a dump truck stolen, a backhoe stolen off a job. We found that one in the middle of the street. They just must have run out of gas and just left it after they did what they needed to do with it, because it was nowhere near our job.
Over the last year.
Yeah, that's all over the last year.
Okay, so that's
So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how we can, secure our stuff better. We've looked into the cellular cameras that you can put up, battery powered cellular cameras. But what I found, we have Ring cameras all over the place. I think they're garbage. They don't pick up enough. They don't get triggered easy enough. And even when you get people on camera, most of the time
Can't tell who they are.
you can't tell who they are, or the police, are told not to do anything about it, or they just have too much to do.
So yeah, I guess you probably want to know how to reduce this as much as possible without actually hiring somebody, right? And having to pay a lot, right? That's what everybody wants to do. So, the first thing you want to do is make yourself a harder target, because prevention is, as a business owner, prevention is far better than what you do afterwards.
Yeah.
You want to prevent as much crime from occurring in the first place, reduce the amount of loss and reduce the amount of loss of the work, because every time somebody steals a piece of equipment, you're going to have some sort of crew waiting there for a piece of equipment to get on the job and do something else. And so there's loss of work there, and that's a problem for you as well. So, creating kind of like a culture of security is what is going to help you in doing that without actually having to put dollars forth to prevent these from occurring. For example, you have a fence that's broken into. Somebody snips the fence up, and then they sneak through there and they go steal your catalytic converter out of one of your trucks. And you see that and you go, okay, great, I'm going to get my truck fixed now. You go send it to the shop, and it costs you whatever, $2,000, I don't know. It's not cheap, but you look at it and you go, well, they already snipped the fence, I'll deal with that later. And then you have another break-in and another break-in, and then you go, oh, what am I going to do? Well, the first thing is you have to repair that fence. You have to repair that fence. And you ask, well, what's that going to do? Well, the next time that person comes back to break in and they see that you repaired the fence, at least it tells them you're paying attention, that that the theft occurred, and that you're doing something about it, making it as well lit as possible, as many lights as you can. And the cameras, you're using cameras. Is it obvious that you have cameras there? Maybe do you have a sign saying that, hey, smile, you're on camera, or whatever? Is the camera easy for them to just take and deface? Or is it somewhere they can't get a hold of? Can you possibly move crews around, or have people around during the times when those break-ins are occurring the most? Because generally people will commit these crimes when they have the path of least resistance. That description where that person stole the items while you were on site, that's pretty rare. Like, you don't see that a lot. And once it gets to that level, it's pretty bad, but that's pretty uncommon. I would guess that doesn't happen all the time for you, does it? Where someone's stealing while you're there working?
Well,
a few times.
it probably happens more than you think. But I mean, we also we do a lot of public works projects, so we're on the street. So
okay.
With homeless people, we're dealing with all kinds of stuff. We had a homeless guy walk into our bucket. Remember, he stepped into the bucket when we were out there, and then started screaming and yelling at the guys and trying to mess with the truck because they wanted to get back at them because they weren't watching where they were walking.
Of course,
yeah. In the middle of the street.
Well, yeah, and now you add another aspect in dealing with homeless individuals. I mean, that's a real, difficult situation that we're facing.
I'm here just 2 nights ago checking. We have lock boxes out there where we have some keys in them, and they're out there fiddling around with it, trying to get into the lockbox.
Yeah, so this is like on your storage site where you have all of your equipment.
Yeah, that's our office,
man.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty ongoing.
Yeah, well, you're not alone in dealing with this for sure. But if you're the hardest target, what are they going to do? They're going to go next door and do it, right? Yeah. So not so good for the next guy, but hey, you want to be the hardest target. And for anybody else listening on here, they want to be the hardest target. Make it as difficult as possible. Therefore they go down the street and, do it somewhere else, because that's what you want. You don't want it on your property. We're not going to stop this from occurring completely, right? Law enforcement can't get a hold of this right now. They're having a hard enough time doing it. And they can't get a hold of this crime wave that's occurring. What you can do is, make it as reduced as possible for yourself to deal with, because you have to deal with your business and what you do best, and you don't want to deal with security issues and think about that while you're trying to run your business.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Well, if anybody wants to get hold of you and ask you some questions or see about, your services, how would they go about getting a hold of you?
What would you do in a case like this?
Oh, yeah. So, like in your specific case,
Yeah.
so of course, the best thing to do is to actually have somebody there with a security presence. That's the best. Someone who's trained to deal with people like that. Of course, that's not cheap. So if you can't do that, then I would you know do the things that I just spoke of and more. There's so much more you can do.
Yeah.
And so, of course, repair all that fencing that's ever been breached, make sure everything's as well lit as possible, that the cameras are not just there, but that it's visible to anybody who's, wanting to steal anything from your site or your property. And then also create that kind of culture within your employees to understand what's going on, look out for these things, and report it if it occurs. If there's a suspicious type of occurrence, then who are they reporting it to? Or are they confronting it at least? If somebody comes on the property and is looking around, jingling the keys or whatever,
Yeah.
do they feel like they can go up there and talk to that person and say, "Hey, what are you doing? How can I help you?" Or whatever it may be, and whatever is
Yeah.
appropriate in that situation.
They see your presence.
Yeah, make your presence known, and a lot of times that will stop it from occurring in the first place.
All right.
So,
So
to train employees.
have you something I had a thought of too with we're talking about security when we're going to have you on. Do you have any situations where like, so we're over in, I don't want to talk about where we are now because I don't want to get robbed more, but we're over in Rancho. There's a lot of other construction companies over, around where we're at. Has anybody ever like done, or do people do like where they do like security sharing where like a bunch of people who are in kind of the same neighborhoods or the same areas? Because I mean, it's not just us. I know the people down some of these other roads, they get hit just as much. Do people do that sometimes? Is that a thing or?
Yeah, so we have a security patrol which is available to clients, and it is a lot more cost effective than having a stationary guard. So that's something that we do, and we could definitely link up with different groups and have a sharing with that service, and that's something we could definitely do. Yeah, absolutely, and it'd be more cost effective than going alone for sure.
It just seems like it'd be better. I mean, kind of bring the whole neighborhood up, right? Like, I mean, I know you can't really.
Guys together, you all share the
Yeah.
cost of a road.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, Terry, you didn't want to be on camera. You don't get to talk now.
Okay.
Terry's talking on camera, trying to get in. I told you you wanted to be on. It's fine. But yeah, that's kind of an idea that I had thought. All right, well, that sounds pretty good. So, is there any other message that you kind of wanted to push out?
Yeah, I would just like to say that being a victim is choice. You don't really have to. You can actually stop this from occurring. It might take some thought, some actual work. You might have to actually put things in place, but it doesn't have to happen. You guys are business owners, just like I am. We have our own businesses to think about, and for people who are trying to run a business in whatever it may be, in paving or something, they don't want to have to think about security. But hey, you do. You have to think about it if someone's stealing from you. And one thing I always stress to people who are having these issues is, have you put a dollar figure to what the crime is costing you? So, have you actually thought about it? Have you put that together? I had a catalytic converter stolen. It cost me that much. I had a trailer stolen. It cost me that much. I had a crane stolen or whatever it may be. I've heard some crazy stories of big, heavy equipment being stolen. I mean, that's not cheap. So understand the severity of it and analyze it. If you had $50,000 worth of stuff stolen, could you have used $50,000 to prevent it from occurring in the first place? And so what's the loss of production that you were faced because of that?
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people look at security and they wonder, oh, this is really expensive, something I need, but I can't do anything about it. I can't afford it. Well, you might not be able to afford to not do something. You probably have to. And you're probably already expending dollars that could have prevented it from happening in the first place.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's
Makes
interesting.
sense.
Cool.
Makes sense.
All right. So one last thing I like to hit on is the other part of the pillar for the podcast is kind of motivation and how to kind of build and and do better. So where do you pull motivation from, to keep your business running and to keep everything dialed and to keep basically the train on the tracks?
Yeah, where I pull my motivation is, from individuals like you, people who are facing issues. I'm a guardian at my core, and protecting is what I do. So when I hear about people who are trying to make an honest living, who are trying to run a business, and they're having hindrances to that, and they're not able to do that as successfully as they should, just because somebody else is taking advantage of them. That's all the motivation I need. It helps me get through my day and work my butt off to make sure that these things don't occur, because I understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur. I understand what it's like to be a business owner or run a business or be a manager of one, and I draw my motivation from them and their issues that they're facing.
That's pretty good. Awesome. Cool. I appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to us and giving us some pointers. I think I definitely learned a lot.
You can learn more about Garret Security by going to gpfsecuritycorp.com. They probably have a phone number on there or an email address that you can send an email to get a hold of them and see if he can help you out.
Yeah, we have a project coming up in West Sac, actually, where we're working in a area that is full of, as the city called them, is undesirables.
Transients.
That was Republicans. I thought that's what they were calling. Okay, I thought they meant us.
Yeah.
No. So I might have some questions for you or things that we can do to kind of prevent and help ourselves from there too in the future. So I'll definitely reach out.
Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. And they can always go to our website there. We have lots of tips and tricks on there as well. We always post on social media. We have different things we're dealing with that we, show how to prevent these things from occurring.
Nice.
Cool.
Good to know.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. And check us out on bm-builders.com, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Oh, that was your line. I always So it was good talking to you, Garret. Thank you.